What is up, guys? Katie here. Welcome. I say the channel, but it's actually streaming all over the place. So it's always a different intro depending on where we are. But we're everywhere today. We're everywhere. So welcome. Hope you're having an amazing, amazing day. I want to jump in here. And I was really thinking in the last few days, in the last week or so, like, man, I have so many incredible friends. I have so many incredible creators, entrepreneurs, people who are my mentors, people who are my peers. Like, I've got all these incredible people in my space, and this is so much what the world of YouTube and content and digital content. This is so much of what this is about, right? It's about collaboration. It's about support. It's about being a team and jumping in and loving on people. And I've been thinking about how, like, what are the ways I can support you guys most? What are the ways? I'm constantly thinking every time I go to bed, I'm like, I could do this, I could do this. And it always comes back to service. For some of you who are on with us this last weekend, we had a 3-day event and we were going through the steps, right, of creating incredible, impactful content on YouTube. And it was all about service. Like, step one is everything about service. That's what I'm thinking about constantly. And so to give you something that is really valuable and amazing and to be in service, to be in generosity, I'm constantly looking at ways to support you. And one of the things that we're going to be doing is bringing on my friends, bringing on the people who have impacted me, and we've gotten to create incredible relationships. The irony is that I have met so many of my closest friends virtually. Like, I've never met them in person. I can't wait for that to happen, but like, honestly, it's a lot virtual, a lot virtual. So I want to welcome to the stage, to the virtual stage, right? I want to welcome Carol Register. And Carol, there you are. So fancy on StreamYard, a click of a button, and here you are. Okay, so Carol, you are an incredible, incredible entrepreneur. You're doing so many amazing things, and you're just not letting, we're literally talking, like, you're not letting age, you're not letting circumstances, you're not letting your past, you're not letting any of that stuff get in your way. You're just moving forward, which I love. And those are the people that, like, we attract, right? Because if we're in that space and we're in that mindset, we're like, we literally find those people even when we're not trying to find them. So Carol, you are I got to get this right because it's such an epic title. You are a certified master NeuroCoach, which is an
Yeah.
incredible title, just so you know. I'm a little jealous. I'm like, what in the world? What is this? Um and I want to jump in and, like, I want you to jump in and really share, like, what is neurocoaching? Who are the people you're supporting in the world? And what are the amazing things that you're seeing happening with this?
Okay, I'd love to. Thank you. Thank you for that warm, gracious welcome. Thank you so much, Katie, for having me. Um, Neurocoaching is based on neuroscience, and I am certified through Dr. Shannon Irvin. She has her PhD in neuropsychology. She's amazing. She has this incredible gift of taking very complex things and making them childlike simple.
Mm.
Yeah, I love it. And so, I was widowed 7 years ago, and I was overseas. My husband was an entrepreneur. I'd only been, an independent contractor. I was a high-level gymnastics judge, which I loved. Um
What? How did I not know this? That's so cool. Okay, wow.
Thank
I'm learning
you.
all sorts of things.
Yeah, like, it was in my family. My grandmother was a gymnast, my cousins, my sister, my daughters, and so, my husband and I were gonna retire overseas and had just bought a business that was owned by a North American couple, and we ended up, getting started with the process, and right when the closing of the business went through, he passed away.
Mm.
And so here I was alone in a foreign country, new culture, new language, new business, menopause, and grieving. And I walked forward into, there's a lot of details in between, but I walked forward into being the leader of that business and began to see that I was standing in my own way after a
Mm.
few years. I
Mm.
had a vision, I was excited, and Um, but I recognized where I was standing in my own way. So that's when I jumped into Dr. Shannon's program. And then I went forward into her year-long certification process to become a NeuroCoach and then a master NeuroCoach. And so we use a neuroscience-based process to help people rewire their minds. We're based on neural networks in our brains, right? And so when you have limiting beliefs running, there's
Mhm.
a process to literally rewire those neural networks. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's so cool. And it's so amazing to hear you explain it because I hear bits and pieces of it lots of places and it sounds like woo, it sounds like real weird. It's like, okay, what are we doing here? But like this is based on science. Like
Yeah.
this is based on actually how our brains work. And I think that's so powerful because you and I have had many a conversation about like all the things that get in our way, all the things that make us stuck. And it's the way that we're seeing it. It's not even the reality of what's occurring, the reality of what is present with us. Sometimes it's so much how we're seeing it. And I use in my space, like I use the example like, yo, clean off your glasses. Like if you've got dirt and dust and everything from the past, you're going to see
Yeah.
very differently than someone who is cleaned it off, gotten rid of it, and moved forward. Like they're seeing vibrantness, like they're seeing all sorts of beautiful things. And it's so amazing when you're able to do that for yourself, when
Yeah.
you're able to get support around that, when you're able to be in that space where you can actually see what is, not what is, through the lens of limitation, through the lens of like disbelief in yourself, disbelief in what you can create, all of those things. And let me tell you, when you're running a business, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're creating things for other people, when you're in a service-based career, which a lot of us are, it gets real hard to lead other people if you're not able to lead yourself.
That's right.
And of course, the phone. I'm telling you every time. I should just like unplug the phone. But I'd love for you to dive into like what are some of the incredible things. I know you've had so many incredible stories, including your own. So many incredible stories, and I'd love for you to share some of the amazing things that you've seen.
Oh yeah, I would love to share that. It's super cool. So one of the things that our brains are wired to do is to keep us safe. And one of the ways they keep us safe is by protecting what's automated in our subconscious. So thoughts and beliefs get automated. Thoughts and emotions combine to form beliefs, and those get automated when they're repeated over time. So the majority of our limiting beliefs actually come from our childhood
Mm,
fault, we had a childlike perspective. Even if we had an idyllic childhood, um, the majority of us have had some sort of trauma in our life, if not everybody. But if you had a wonderful, idyllic childhood, you still couldn't see things from an adult perspective. And you had to create something that served you at the time. And then
mhm,
you carry that forward into adulthood where it's no longer serving you. Right? And so one of the things that was so powerful for me to realize was that just like we train our muscles or they'll be weak, we go into training them, they break down, they build up and get stronger. We have the ability to train our minds.
mhm.
And that perspective piece you brought up is so powerful and important. It really comes out of our identity, who we are, and our recognition of the ability to be the creator of our thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. I love that. I spend so much time in my space talking about how responsibility is freedom. Like we're responsible regardless if we see it that way or not.
yeah,
And we can see that as a burden. We can see that as a consequence. We can see that as something that's bad. But the reality is, when we understand we are responsible for our thoughts, we are responsible for our responses to things, we are responsible for how we see things,
mhm,
then it gives us so much freedom to actually choose. To choose something that's empowering, to choose and I love that word. I love that word, not so much because of like it's such a hit, like it's such a big word right now. Everybody uses it all the time. But the reality is like when we are able to lead ourselves, lead our thoughts, lead our mind, lead our responses to things, lead our perspective, it is such a powerful thing to see how that impacts everybody around us. Because
Yeah.
then we're the type of people that can show up in our businesses, in our families, in our relationships everywhere,
Yeah.
and in the relationship with ourselves. We can show up and be like, "Yeah, okay, cool." We can be in a mindset of like, "I'm learning. I'm always learning." And I
That's
love
right.
that.
And what
Mhm.
also you touch on something that's really important. I believe we're spiritual beings in physical bodies,
Yeah.
not physical bodies with a spirit, but we're actually spiritual beings, and we have a lot more power to shift and to choose. We have the power to shift and choose, and we're not taught that. We don't realize it. And it's very important to recognize. And I'll give you a great example of something physical that happens with the neuroscience. I have a friend's sister, and she recently had a stroke. She's relatively young. Her whole lost the use of her whole left side. So she went into physical therapy. They started work to rewire her neural networks, exactly like what I do, to help her to be able to walk again and to be able to use her hand again. And just recently, I saw a video of her taking her first steps. And
That's so
now,
cool.
even more recently, she was doing a little dance.
Oh. Oh, that's so special. Like,
Yeah,
that's the power of and you and I, have talked about it a lot, like, we are both, um, Christian and really just, like, there's a whole next level of understanding and perspective that is available, and it was amazing because I was reading in my Bible this morning, Joshua 1:9. I, like, literally just opened up to him like, "Oh, okay, I know, alright, here we go," which talks about, like, "Do not fear. Do not fear." And there's so many times the Bible says this, and it's powerful because, like, so much of what we see is through the lens like, naturally, so
mhm,
much of what we see when we're clogged up and we're looking through, dirty glasses and our perspective, like, needs a solid shift, like, so much of what we are seeing is scarcity. We're seeing
yeah,
things in lack. We're seeing things, and I don't have what is required to complete this or to create this or to have this or to be this, right?
yeah,
Um, so I love that you share that because in a very physical sense, this is something that's impacting literally changing people's lives, not just
yeah.
tweaking and adding something special. It's not like a little sprinkle on the lifestyle. This literally changed her life.
Yeah, absolutely. And to bring you forward with your earlier question of what results have I seen, well, I walked forward from being that frightened widow alone in a foreign country to speaking the language, to loving the culture and the people, to now being a multiple business owner and global investor. And I love helping people to know what's possible for them.
Yeah.
Just, there's so many different aspects that we could cover, from persistence and all of this. But speaking to what you were referring to in Joshua earlier, that lack of fear, there's also an ancient proverb that says, as one thinks, so are they.
Yes. Oh, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so funny this is coming up because I literally was watching a movie and it was like everything was based off of this. Like everything was based off of this. And it was so powerful to me to like sometimes we can hear things, but we can't really hear the whole message. Can't
Yeah.
really see the whole picture. And as we're growing in our leadership, as we're allowing things to support us in leveling up, then we start hearing things like more in depth. We start really seeing things and suddenly understanding them. And it was so cool because like in my situation in this moment, I was like, this is a movie I'd grown up with. And I was able to hear what the message was in a whole deeper level than I'd ever heard before. And this is the power of what you're creating and what you're creating for yourself, how you're leading yourself, but also how you're leading other people, how you're
Thank
leading
you.
entrepreneurs and people who have big stuff they're up to, and
Yeah.
there's things that are blocking them, and so often we can think about these things as inevitable, forever, things we can't change, things we can't shift. And it's such a powerful reality to realize, like, oh man, like I can.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a huge reality. And I take people through a really simple process to be able to clarify exactly what it is they want. Whose plan are they living for their
Yeah.
lives? And then walking forward into the actual rewiring process, which is amazing, so that we can call out those limiting beliefs and start to have an awareness of what's going on in our subconscious. Because
Yeah.
in reality, our subconscious is driving 80 to 95% of our daily decisions. And we have no awareness of what it is back there. So we have a process to help you gain awareness. And once you gain awareness, then to look at whether it's true or not, and whether it's what you want or not, and start to literally lay down the neural networks for that. You hear all the time, especially around New Year's time in the States in January, um, that we're going to have resolutions. Or one of the things I see on YouTube a lot is do this for 21 days. And here's the science about that. In 21 days, you will lay down a new neural network, but you have not gone through the process of removing the old neural network. And so um, I'll give you an example. You hear somebody who maybe after 3 weeks has lost that 10 pounds. They've started to lay down those new habits or follow a diet and have success, but it'll fall apart a week or two later. Or if you check back in with them the next month. And why is that? Because the old neural network at 21 days has not been removed.
Yeah.
So it's a process that takes time. And you and I just went through this amazing, amazing leadership program.
Yeah.
And it was a 3-month process of neuroscience that we went through to lay down that new network of the mantras that we had.
Yeah.
And so they're wired in now.
Yeah. 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 And it's still, like, I think the powerful thing to come back to is like, oh my goodness, like having that support, right? Having the people that know what they're doing and can support you. In my space, it's really interesting because so many creators, um, like especially like non-traditional businesses, and like we're moving so much into the creative world, we're moving so much into independent businesses, we're moving so much into entrepreneurship, which is a powerful, exciting thing. Especially like we relate to this, we're like, we're building our own empire. And what tends to happen is people lone wolf. They think, well, I just want to build this. I don't want to be
Yeah.
told what to do. I don't want somebody else's structure. I don't want somebody else's vision for my life. I want to build mine. And the power of having people like you, Carol, in someone's space, and in someone who's up to big things, the powerful part about having people like you is that we're literally working on your vision. Like we're working on yours, not ours
Mhm.
for you, but yours, and then going through processes together to support that. Where like, you go to other places, you go to like traditional education in a lot of areas, and it's like you're working off of somebody else's plan. You're working
Mhm.
off of somebody else's vision. And it was what turned me off like massively. But what I want to how I want to land this, because it's really important for you to understand you get to have support. And anything incredible, anything big, anything like you've got a big vision in your head, you've got something that you really want to create, you can't create that alone.
Yeah.
You can't, it's not meant, we are people that are not meant to be alone. We're not meant to be lone wolfing. We're meant to have support systems. We're meant to have accountability. We're meant to have people in our space that are smarter than us, that are effective in specific areas, that can support us, that can mentor us. So have people like Carol in your space. And we're going to talk about how exactly you can do that, like right now. So, Carol, I'd love for you to share about your upcoming summit, which is Amp Up Your Finances. I love this. I love everything you shared about this. So, please share with everyone about it.
Okay, I'd love to. Thank you for asking. Yes, called Amp Up Your Finances. Why wait till tomorrow when you can start today?
I
Was
don't know.
one
Let's
of the
do it. Like,
let's
no,
go.
no, wait.
Let's
Let's
go
not wait.
now. One of the things I specialize in as a NeuroCoach is money mindset, how money works, principles of wealth, things we weren't taught growing up. Most of us weren't taught growing up. And there are things that once you have that information and you shift your mindset, um, great things start to happen. Also, when you go to work on any one area, all these other areas shift because we're
Yep.
integrated beings. And I love the part about community, having that strong, supportive community of other people who are committed to growing and up-leveling and getting what they want, being successful in the ways that they want
Yeah.
is so powerful and so important. So I would love for you to come over and join the Amp Up Your Finances Summit. It is free, completely free, with 20 plus influencers, including Katie. Unbelievable interview on abundance. You'll want to hear
Mhm.
it. And just gather in that information and enjoy it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can register at AmpUp www. You do need the W's in front of it. ampupyourfinances.com. And
And the link and all the information is down in the description below. So
yeah,
wherever or in the description above, depending on where you're looking. It's in the information on this
yep,
live. So you guys have access to that link. You
yeah,
can go click that, register. It's absolutely free. And it's incredible creators. I mean, many of them I
yeah,
know as well, and they're absolutely incredible people. They're also my friends. They're also people that I know well. And the reason I share this with you guys, the reason that I want you guys to know about this is because this is what community is. This is what support and playing team and leading is. Like
yeah,
putting people in front of you that can support you. None of us are going to be experts at everything. Goodness, thank goodness not. Like, no, thank you. And so you get to have people that are going to support you in different ways in your space.
yeah,
Don't do things alone. Get the community in your space that can support you. Get the people that really land with you, that you connect with. Get them in front of your space. Be in demand for coaching, be in demand for support, because that's how you're going to grow. That's how you're going to level up. And it's so exciting to have people like you, Carol, in the world because,
thank
like,
you.
we're in a world where people are literally just standing up and using their voice. And I'm so excited for that because so
Yeah,
many people have, like, one of the limiting beliefs in our space for a lot of people is, man, my voice doesn't matter. Man, what I have to say and my story
yeah,
and my experiences, they don't matter. But the reality is it's the only thing, like, 110% no one can take it away from you. Your perspectives, your experience, who you are, how you see the world. Like, no one can take that from you. That's yours and yours alone, and it's unique to you.
that's
And
beautiful.
it's, like, so important. And that's really what your whole, like, it's so powerful. Like, that's what your whole business is around. Like, having your own, like, it's yours. Success is yours.
We're snowflakes. We're each unique.
I know. I love it. Oh my goodness. So, guys, definitely come join Carol and I. This is going to be an incredible summit. I'm so excited for you. It's going to be an
Yeah.
absolute amazing community. You already have an incredible community. So, the
Oh,
sooner you jump in, like,
actually,
do
I
it.
want to share something else.
Yeah.
We're opening up a new program regarding your money mindset, and I'd love for you to jump on the waiting list. If you're on the waiting list, you will have first access to the information of when the program opens. You will have bonuses. You will have Q&A. You will have early pricing that won't be available for those who are not on the waiting list. So please, please, if you're interested in any way, come dive into the waiting list so that you can receive all the extras.
All right. I'm going to put this in the chat and I will also put that in the description below so people are aware of that because that's really important. Like, It's one thing to, and you and I both know this because we both do summits. It's one thing to listen to the content, to get the content in your inbox, to like watch it, to pay attention, whatever. It's one thing to do that, but it's a whole another level of retaining information, applying it, working with people who are in the same commitment level that you are. It's a whole new level when you jump in and invest the
Yeah.
time in a way that actually supports you in using that time effectively. Because I can't tell you how many programs I've done. I can't tell you how many high level programs I've enrolled in. And when I'm in that mentality that's like, oh, I can watch it whenever I want to, or I can like, I can just do something while I'm paying attention or blah, 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 whatever. Like if I'm not really committed, if I'm not really invested in that, then it's a waste of my time.
Yeah.
Not because the content is like a waste, but because the way that I'm approaching it, my commitment level to it is much lower than it could be. So
Yeah.
really consider like jumping in and spending a lot of time with Carol in her space because you're going to learn so much from her. You're going to learn so many things that are going to support you and therefore going to support the communities that you're on fire to build. So
Thank
jump
you,
in, make it
Katie.
happen.
You're very generous. And I would say the very same thing. If you are looking for amazing content creation and also a leader with fabulous mindset, then Katie's the one you want to work for.
They were
Thank you for your
like,
generosity.
boom, boom. I know it's powerful. Like this is what it is, right? We both specialize in different areas and it's so amazing to like be able to support each other. Because in the end, what that does is that supports every single one of you here. That supports every single one of you here because you get to have people in your space that support you. So, Carol, thank you so much for being with us. This was so much fun. It's always fun to talk to you, and I can't wait for your summit. Congratulations. Everyone, jump in. It's going to be an amazing summit, and it's absolutely free. There's no reason in the world you shouldn't register. It's
Yeah,
going to impact every single one of you. So, thank
that's
you
right.
for being here. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you for having me. Bye.